What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Sport Your Enthusiasm podcast, a special episode specifically dedicated to the trade deadline. I'm your humble host, Bryce Benjamin, along with a guy who so happens to put his pants, his shoes, and socks all on, both legs at a time. My co-host, Ed Jesse. You like that one?
I don't know. I'm nice if I could put two socks on simultaneously.
I just tried something different. But welcome you back. I just want to welcome everybody back to another episode here, man. This episode is specifically dedicated to the NBA trade deadline that concluded at 3 p.m. today. Very excited. Very exciting news that happened that I really couldn't just wait to record tomorrow. So decided to dedicate a whole episode to it, give our thoughts and opinions on it, and just talk about it pretty much. And real quick, I want to wish a happy Black History Month to all my brothers and sisters out there. Ed, you got on me last time for not mentioning that, so I wanted to make sure I get that in there. I messed up on that one.
You can keep your Facebook picture now.
So yeah, happy Black History Month, everybody out there. We're going to be doing a special Black History episode, so stay tuned for that. All right, but here, man, let's go ahead and get into it. So we had the NBA trade deadline that happened at 3 o'clock today. And over the past week, over the past week, big NBA trades went down. Stuff that literally can decide pretty much who wins the conference. Specifically in the East, the Eastern teams, the top Eastern teams made some heavy moves. And definitely want to get into majority of these trades, get our thoughts, opinions, and the ramifications of these trades. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get the ball rolling. So I want to start off with where do you want to start off with? Should we jump right into the really big one?
No, let's do the one y'all did.
Okay, that's the really big one in my opinion.
Jesus.
So for those who have not been listening, for those who are new to listening, we got a couple of new listeners that like the podcast Twitter page. So yeah, shout out to the new listeners, man. I appreciate y'all. But for those who don't know, that I am your resident Sixers fan, and my Philadelphia 76ers have literally been having me smiling ear to ear for the past 48 hours. So the big trade that happened on Wednesday, literally around, was like 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. I was literally up when it happened, and I got a bunch of texts and tweets. The Philadelphia 76ers pulled off a great trade, a monumentous trade with the Los Angeles Clippers. And they exchanged, the Clippers are traded, Tobias Harris, Mike Scott, and Boban Marjanovic from the Sixers for Landry Shamet, Wilson Chandler, Mike Muscala, a 2020 first round pick, 2021 first round pick from Miami, 2020 first round pick from the Sixers, which is protected by the lottery, and 2 second round picks. So when the trade initially happened, I want to get my thoughts on this first, and then you can jump in. So when the trade initially happened, I will admit, I kind of looked at it and I thought, man, we gave up a lot to get Tobias Harris, who is on the last year of his contract and will be an unrestricted free agent. And at first, I was kind of like shocked. I didn't know how to take it. And then after I was able to digest it, and after a couple of hours, able to sleep on it, wake up, and listen, I couldn't be more excited now. This was the trade that, to me, Elton Brand and the 76ers decided we're going to go all in for this year. And we're going to try to win this Eastern crown that is completely wide open. And this literally pretty much gives us what we was missing for the main part. Well, some of what we was missing. We get another player that can create his own shot, that can hit, catch, and shoot threes, which is excellent for both Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and is not a super liability on defense. And on top of that, we was able to get another switchable guy in Mike Scott, who can, a lot of people consider him a one-trick pony, where he can knock down open threes, catch and shoot threes, and he can play defense, and he's definitely switchable. And then a backup center in Boban Marjanovic, who It depends. Like with him, I think we're going to play him sparingly because against bigger lineups, obviously we'll put him in as a backup to Embiid. But if a team goes small ball, then they could definitely have some issues trying to check smaller fives out on the perimeter and stuff like that. So I like to pick up of him. But overall, man, I love this trade for my Sixers. We definitely gave up a lot, but at the same time, this is what the process was all about. We stockpiled draft picks, we stockpiled assets, and we was able to cash in those assets for a player. And Tobias Harris, who's only 26 years old, entering his prime, and is a very good offensive player, and should get better. Man, like this is it. This is the team that we've been waiting for as Sixers fans, and finally it's here. And hopefully this is the team that can lead us to the promised land to get to the finals. What's your thoughts on it, Ed?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just watching Rajon Rondo score a game winner on the Celtics. 129-128.
Shout out to the Lakers. Let's go. Fuck the Celtics.
Wow.
Yeah. This is a anti-Boston podcast here.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. I feel bad for Tobias, man. I guess it's a good trade for a tanking Clippers team, but so I'm kind of surprised that Gallo didn't get moved as well, Danilo Gallinari. But all in all, I guess I'd say it's a good trade for both teams, depending on what they're trying to do. Philly's in a win now mode, and Clippers are giving up on their season, so they just kept enough people just to keep some seats filled up in the arena. So, I mean, it sucks that Tobias finally gets a chance to be the alpha, the main scorer, proves that he can almost be a fringe all-star player, hits a 6-triple 34-point game winner that night, and then is traded. Like, I just feel like things like that. There was another trade that was a lot worse than that same night, but that trade right there, man, that really hurts, because I just don't understand how teams can really essentially give up on players that do so great for their franchise. Like, the man really just became the alpha for that team, and he got traded away. It's like, wow, there's really no loyalty in basketball when it comes to the owners.
That's a big fact. There's definitely no loyalty in basketball. So that's when we're going to discuss that Harrison Barnes trade, because he literally got traded during the middle of the game, which is kind of funny. But yeah, there's definitely no loyalty in basketball. Teams are going to do what's best for them, and then that's why I 100% back players for doing what's best for them. And to me, I don't think you should feel bad for Tobias Harris. I think this is a win-win situation for him. He gets to leave a Clippers team that is right now currently in the 8th seed. Probably wasn't going to do nothing in the playoffs, and he gets to go to a very heavy contender in the Sixers in a wide open Eastern Conference. He may not be the main focus anymore on offense like he was with the Clippers, so he gets to play more of like a third or fourth scorer role. We'll see how he handles that, because it's a lot of mouths to feed now in that Sixers
him
rotation.
As a person, man, that can't be a good feeling for him, man. Like, to go from getting that taste of being that dude to now, I'm back to being how I was 5 years ago in Orlando. Like, come on, man.
The thing with this one, though, is that we know what his game is like. Back when he was in Milwaukee and Orlando, he showed flashes of what he can be. Now we see, like, okay, this is his game, and he's going to have his opportunities to be the main guy with the Sixers, because they're going to stagger those minutes. Eventually, the starting lineup is going to be Ben Simmons, JJ Redick, Butler, Tobias Harris, and Embiid, and he's probably the third, maybe fourth option scoring wise in that lineup. Maybe sometimes even the fifth option. So, but there is going to be times where it's just him and Simmons, and he's going to be the number one scoring options in that lineup. And he's still going to get his shots. I think he's definitely still going to get his shots, and it's definitely going to play dividends when it comes down to crunch time, because that's the one thing that we was lacking with the Sixers, was a guy that can go out and take advantage of a mismatch and create his own shot. And this move right here for the Sixers, it gives us one of the best starting fives in the NBA. You put that starting five up against any starting five in the NBA, and I think we hold our own. From the Clippers aspect of it, I love the trade for the Clippers as well. I don't think there's a loser in this trade. The Clippers kind of figured, like, this team, the Clippers overachieving this year. To be honest, let's keep it real. The Clippers was not supposed to be as good as they are right now, and they're right now sitting in the 8th spot, and they still might make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? The Clippers should still make the playoffs. Now, will they? I probably would bet against that, but they're looking towards the bigger picture. With this trade, they was able to clear up a lot of cap space. They was able to bring in a couple of expiring contracts in Chandler and Muscala. They was able to get a very valuable rookie, my man Landry Shaman, who I love. I wish we could have kept him. But he's going to be decent. He's a very good three-point shooter, and he's going to only get better. You have a rookie point guard in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's very good. And you clear up 2 max contract spots for a destination in L.A. where you got Doc Rivers as the head coach, one of the best head coaches in the league. You have Jerry West, who is the GM, and it seems like everywhere he goes, he just builds up championships teams. The Clippers are going to make some noise this offseason, where I think they can definitely get a Kawhi Leonard. They can definitely get Kevin Durant. They have the money. They have the pieces around that a star player would want to go play with and build with. And then they have some draft capital as well, because they got some very good picks. Like that 2021 Miami pick is so valuable, where you don't like Miami trajectory right now is going down. Like we don't know what Miami's going to be in the next 2-3 years. But if I had to take a guess, that 2021 pick in Miami is probably going to be a top 10, top 5 type pick. So very, very valuable trade assets. They're building towards the future. And then this summer, I think the Clippers are going to be heavy favorites to land maybe 1, if not 2, big-time free agents.
Oh, I don't got none.
All right, so yeah, that's the one trade that loved it for my Sixers. We made some additional small trades to fill out our bench. Eventually, and then we moved on from Markelle Fultz. So I definitely want to get into that. Another big trade was the between the Raptors and the Grizzlies. Did you see that one? Marc Gasol being traded.
Yeah.
So the trade was Marc Gasol from the Grizzlies to the Raptors, and Toronto gave up Jonas Valanciunas, DeLon Wright, CJ Miles, and a 2024 second round pick. And I think they also gave up another second round pick, if I'm not mistaken. All right, I'm gonna let you lead me off on this one here. Lead us off on this one here. What's your thoughts on that one?
Man, that was a good ass trade. I can't even hate. I like it for both teams because Memphis gets to get younger. They get a center they could possibly lock up for a lot less money. I know he's got a 17-point-something million player option. He might turn it down, see what he can get, but he's been riding the pine over in Toronto, and justifiably so. So maybe him being over there and being able to start could possibly revive what we thought he could have been, which probably I'd say like an 18, 19-point guy, maybe a double-double. Should get blocks, 7'1". Can't do it, save his life. But you know what? Maybe it'd be different in Memphis. You never know. I love the trade for Toronto because that's another playmaking 5 that can do everything in the game.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Like he is his brother. Like it's crazy. He's just their games are just insane. I love the Gasol brothers. Their games have been tailored to this day and age, and that addition to that offense is going to be great. He'll help out that bum ass Kyle Lowry, and maybe maybe he'll free up something for Kawhi Leonard. I really am interested to see his integration in the Toronto offense. I really like that. I like that move for both teams.
Yeah, I agree 100%. The Grizzlies weren't doing nothing this year. They started off hot, faltered from there, and now they are literally the 14th, the second worst team in the West right now. So it was announced that they was going to trade Conley and Gasol. They didn't move on from Conley. They said they wanted to keep him, but they did trade Gasol. And Toronto made an excellent move on this one here. It gives them another post presence who is still like Gasol, still a top 5 center in this league. And like you said, he does everything. He's a very good defender. He won Defensive Player of the Year, like 3-4 years ago? Very good defensive